So recently I was just got a swing that I had to hang for my kids in the backyard, and I think it would be a simple problem to do, but actually for me it actually took a little thinking, so I thought I'd share with everybody. I'll go through the simple steps quick so you don't need to hear me drool on, but you can listen afterwards and I'll explain all my thought process behind it. So what I did was we started with some 1-inch tubular webbing. What we have here, it's actually got a hole down the center, which makes this really strong. I forget how many thousands of pounds this thing is rated for, but it's incredibly strong, and the added advantage is it doesn't stretch. Then the other thing we have is some Rust-Oleum leak seal. The only key part here is a rubberized coating, comes out of a can, just and it's done. And then of course we have our tree limb. I just cut this out of the backyard and wanted to show everybody. So what I did is started with the 1-inch tubular webbing. I took the Rust-Oleum product here and actually sprayed it on that's about the first, I guess, 16 inches or so of the webbing. Only on the one side though. You could probably narrow that down to a foot to make it still make it usable, and I'll show you why later. And then instead of wrapping it around or tying it around the tree limb, what I did was a wrap. So I'll start here with it on a diagonal angle there. You can kind of see how we're doing, and then coming up over and back around this, and over again one more time, and then you can see how it's wrapped there a couple times, and then down. And so now you have this one hanging down that side. And really that's the end of it. And here I'll explain why I did everything. So for the swing that we purchased, we actually got a swing and spin. You can look at them online. It's kind of an updated version of a tire swing. And the limb I was hanging it off of was probably about 20-25 feet up in a tree. And so originally I just tied a rope up there and then hung the swing off it. But with that much length of rope and 3 or 4 kids hanging on the swing would start off the ground maybe 18 inches off the ground, and by the time all the kids loaded onto it, the rope would stretch and it would come down near the ground, which really wasn't a great idea. So I went to the 1-inch tubular webbing, which hardly has any stretch at all. This stuff is just super, super strong, but more importantly, there's not a lot of stretch into it. And then the other thing that I did is I originally just tied the webbing around the limb. But now that posed another problem. Let's just assume this is a knot down here. As the kids would swing back and forth, you got this rubbing action. And in the case of the webbing, it's just going to wear right through. And in our case, I think it was like 1 week, and this just wore through and broke. Kids were sitting on the ground, not really happy. And if you're getting something heavier, like even a chain, you're even just going to damage your tree limb, which was, long term not going to be the best. So what I did was, a friend of mine actually came up with the idea. I saw him doing something else. And when you wrap it around, I'm not even using the rubberized side right now, but when you wrap it around, it's self-tensioning, so it tightens onto itself. And then your motion when you swing is just like this. So there's very little rubbing. You're going to get a little bit in here, but we're not talking the huge amount that you had before. And so the other thing that I didn't even do for my own swing, because that works just great, but I was thinking, well, what's the best way to improve upon this? And I thought, spraying a little bit of this rubberized compound on here is going to give it that initial part some tackiness. Now you only want the tackiness going for the webbing as it touches the tree limb. You don't want it at any other point. That's why we only do the one side. See, if I put that there, I just put a single finger. If I pull on that, it just wants to grip that log. Versus the other side, single finger, and it just wants to pull through there. But as you wrap it around, so if we take this, stick a little tail out there, come up and around, now it's free to slip on itself. So you see you can have this slipping here because we only sprayed it on the one side. And you want that because you want this thing to tighten down on itself. And when you do that second wrap, you're even going to have more of that. So it's all cinching down super tight and then pulling that rubberized coating right into the tree limb. Now, the rubberized coating, you can just go down to Home Depot or somewhere like that. This is the Rust-Oleum. There may be other brands out there, I'm not really sure, but just something to give it a little tackiness. I'm a huge fan of 1-inch tubular webbing. It's from a rock climbing background. I know you can pick it up at an REI or a sporting goods store. But you don't necessarily, there's probably well, actually I know it's overkill. This is meant for rock climbing, somebody taking like a 20-foot fall, and it'll actually absorb that impact. You could probably go to even like a Walmart, and here I have a tensioning strap that you would use for like holding a motorbike down, or these are called tie-down straps, and you have a hook just like this in this other end. I've got this all bound up so it's not just a mess, but then you can pull it tight as far as how much distance you want, and you could do the exact same. You could see this is a lot less material here, but it's still going to hold. I mean, this is meant for also holding thousands of pounds. So you could take this off, cut the hook off this other end, and then hang, you do the same concept that we got on the other end that we did back here with the tubular webbing. Spray it on the side, wrap it around 3 or 4 times. You probably don't even need that much. And then you have a hook to actually hang through your swings, pull it up to whatever height that you want it, and you're all set and ready to go. And you can have a set of these, I think, for like $5 or $12 maybe at Walmart or wherever you want. So there, there's some options there. But anyways, just thought I'd share that with everybody. It was really kind of tweaking my little tiny brain for a little bit, trying to figure out how I was going to hang this swing properly, and I'm really happy with the solution we have now.